Hello everyone, this is Crystal and I'm part of the paper pack challenge. Now this pack of paper has 24 3x4-inch card fronts of 12 different designs. I cut them out and I placed them on A1 cards, which are 3.5x5. I did one plain and one kind of fancy, kind of a now and wow card. As you see, I cut them out and I popped them up on foam tape and then just added some baker's twine. And the one here on the right, I put some black glimmer paper underneath. In that Silent Night, you'll see that from another card. See, this one is a plain one that was just popped up, and this one was, the corners were rounded, and I punched a hole, added some baker's twine, and then put a little piece of gold paper behind it. This one's the same way. I did the same thing to it. And now this one, I used a corner punch, a fancy one I had. I made some little gold banners and put underneath it. And then I put some gold stitching around it. And then I added glossy accents to the berries. Now this one, it was just plain. I just rounded the corners. And I didn't think that Silent Night and the Snowflake went together, so I separated them. This one I put washi tape on the sides, put a piece of gold glimmer paper down, and then put the snowflake. And the Silent Night is the pieces I cut and put on the first card. And for this one, I did the same thing, made a now, and then my wow card is I cut some branches out of my gold poster board and glued them and put them on there. Yeah, there's my punch, my Martha Stewart punch that made myself. And then I added a bow to the bottom and then a little star on top. And this one, I matted it, put it on foam tape and matted it and put it on there. And that's my now card. And my wow is I cut the sides off and I added washi tape and made it into a banner. And then I took strips of leftover paper, I cut off the other fronts and made little banners to go underneath it. And for this one, I just rounded the corners and stuck foam tape on it. And this one, I cut a little piece of gold poster board and a black piece of glimmer paper. It was a fancy square I had, and I cut it in the middle to make it smaller and put it on the back and popped it up with foam tape. And this one, I just matted it and then I stamped it for my now card. And for my wow card, I had a die cut of a starburst out of gold metallic poster board, and I cut the Christ out and popped him up on foam tape. And for this one, I just rounded the corners, popped it up on foam tape, and added. Now this one, I cut around the edges, and then I drew a little border in and colored it in with black marker, and then I put a gold doily underneath it and popped him up on foam tape. This one, as you can see, I rounded the corners and popped it up on foam tape. This next one, I had a piece of gold, or not gold, but silver paper, which was 3.5x5, and I glued that right on the cardstock. And then I added a piece of black that was 3.5x4 3/4. And these cards, I bought them pre-made, so they weren't always scored even. So what you see me do is I evened it up because it was cockeyed. So there I popped up the black on foam tape, and then I added the front, which I had rounded the corners, and then I had these shiny little star stickers that I stuck over on top of the stars. And that was how I did that one. Now this one, I did the same thing. I popped it up on foam tape and added cardstock. The next one, I took it and I angled off the corners and I made it like a tag. And I added the foam tape and added a gold mat on the back of it. And then I took Winkastilla and I went over the manger to give it a little bit more shine, a little bit more glitz to the card. And I added baker's twine to the top to make it look more like a bookmark. And here's a recap of the cards. As you see, I made like a tag for that one. This one I cut around the edges and made like a little mat across it with ink and then added a doily. This one I cut out the oval, added a gold square to the back and some black. This one I punched out the leaf punch or branch punch and added it to give it dimension. This one I used a corner punch and then I used my gold gel pen and put stitching around it, added gold around the side to tie it, and I added glossy accents, and then I put some gold banners on the bottom of it. This one I rounded off 4 corners, added some baker's twine at the top, and put a little banner under it. And this Silent Night, I took it apart and made it into 2 different cards. This Peace and Joy, I cut off the sides and I turned it into a banner, and I added washi tape, and I used extras I had left over from the other paper and made other banners. And this Christ one, I matted it and then added a stamp. And then for the other one, I die cut gold and put behind it and popped it up. And this one we did together on here. And for this one, I only have the one because in all the confusion of doing this in my other design team videos, I lost the other one. So if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Happy crafting.